Another freezing day. It was 67 degrees here in Hollywood today. Women were wrapping themselves in their yoga pants just to stay warm today. There's a big storm walloping the rest of the country, every place but here, basically. Winter Storm Landon, which sounds less like a storm and more like the guy who was always playing guitar at parties in college. But Central Texas is expected to be hit with a nasty mix of ice and snow, which means any minute now, Ted Cruz should be departing to Cancun on a flea vacation. And winter-wise, we could be in for a long one. This morning, Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, which means, well, nothing really, let's be honest. Today, of course, is Groundhog Day, again. The faithful gathered in Gobbler's Knob in Pennsylvania. 5,000 people showed up to get a glimpse at the world's most well-known weather rodent. They've been doing this for more than 130 years, I think. But this year, they really went the extra mile this year. It was like a full-on Broadway show.
It's Groundhog Day, so we gonna dance, dance, dance the night away. Phil's got things he's gotta say, so we gonna make sure everyone's awake. Groundhog, 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 groundhog. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Groundhog, oh man, groundhog, oh man.
I don't know. Should that be allowed during Black History Month? I don't think so. That poor groundhog, as if being yanked out of a hole isn't confusing enough, now they have a big song and dance routine to go along with it. So after the Punxsutawney players wowed the crowd, the men in the top hats finally got down to the important business of predicting the weather.
Get that one? We got a prediction. Are you ready?
With my shadow I have cast, then a long, lustrous 6 more weeks of winter.
Wow, the groundhog wrote that, huh? You know, they could just flip a coin, but coins aren't known carriers of rabies and hepatitis, so it's more fun to go with the groundhog. I was thinking about, actually about February 2nd, 2020, 2 years ago exactly. We still hadn't had a single COVID death in the United States. Exactly 6 weeks later, the whole country was in lockdown. 6 weeks to the day. But how could we have known this was coming? Who on February 2nd could possibly have predicted what would happen in exactly 6 weeks? The groundhog, that's who. Didn't think to warn us about any of it. Huh? And by the way, we looked into it. The Farmer's Almanac calls the few animals who hibernate in winter the 7 sleepers. You want to know who 2 of the 7 sleepers are? Groundhogs and bats. That's right. They colluded to try to kill us with this COVID, and here we are singing groundhog, groundhog, groundhog about them. There's a big announcement from the NFL today. The Washington football team has a new name. The organization formerly known as the Redskins is now the Washington Commanders. This is their new logo. The W stands for why did it take 2 years for you to come up with this? Commanders sounds kind of like an action movie where Dolph Lundgren and Sylvester Stallone joined forces to defend their assisted living facility, right? But it was a big deal in D.C., and if you've ever wondered what a gender reveal party for a football team looks like, it looks like this.
I now, with honor, present to you the Washington Commanders, everybody step up, our new uniform.
All right.
Ta-da!
Love it.
There you go. And just like that, she made racism disappear. Was that really so hard? I mean, really, after all of this? I mean, Commanders is fine. It's a perfectly good name for a football team. If you told me right now their name used to be the Redskins, I'd be like, when? In the 1800s? When did that happen? Interestingly, the franchise now shares a name with President Biden's dog, who's also named Commander. Good thing they didn't name it after Trump's dog. The Washington Pence's, it doesn't have the same ring to it, you know what I mean? The National Archives has informed Donald Trump that they will soon be handing over Mike Pence's records, handing it over to the House committee that's conducting an investigation into the insurrection. One of the most compelling documents they've requested was this paper airplane Pence threw out the window of the Capitol. It says, "Help, my voters are trying to hang me." The committee they're not just looking for what the documents say, they also want to assess how much pee is on the documents to understand how afraid Mike Pence was during the riot. Trump must hate this Pence releasing his documents. It's like when your ex starts tweeting your text messages, you know? Our crazy ex-president is busy blaming everyone but himself for what happened January 6th. Last night, I mentioned he called for an investigation into why Mike Pence refused to overturn the election. Now he's trying to pin the riot on Nancy Pelosi. Uncle Scam did an interview with Newsmax, during which he once again made the false claim that he called for 10,000 troops to protect the Capitol from the nuts he instructed to march over there.
Nancy Pelosi should be investigated for doing such a bad job on Capitol security. I asked for 10,000 soldiers, or we would have given 20, and it's well documented, to go, and because I knew how big the rally would be. The rally was a protest against a rigged election, and I knew how big it was going to be. And I said, why don't we have soldiers there? But she's in charge of Capitol security, and she didn't want any soldiers. So she's responsible for it.
Yeah, none of that's true. It's not well documented. In fact, what was documented, according to Trump's former defense secretary, is that he wanted troops not to protect the Capitol, but to protect his supporters. But at least that's a lie he can dance around. This one somehow got no pushback from the journalist interviewing him whatsoever.
Antifa and BLM were causing such problems, including death. Don't forget, with the exception of one young, fine woman, nobody died on January 6th. Nobody died on January 6th. They like to say 5 people, but nobody died on January 6th.
Right. With the exception of one fine woman who died, nobody died. Not counting deaths, there were no deaths on January 6th. 4 people died as a result of the riot on January 6th. 4 people died that day. Another 5 Capitol police officers lost their lives in the days that followed. I know it's hard to count on those little orange nubs you call fingers, but that's not 1 death, that's 9. You know, I promised that if I showed any more clips of Trump after he lost, I would show him naked. And so we did a lot of work today, and here you go.
You want to go back into this war zone? I mean, you're flirting with it right now. You're not going to announce, and I understand that. But to go back into there, I think people would have to say you're crazy.
Very simple reason. We have a great country that's going to hell, and it's going to hell very fast, and we're not going to have a country left. And I did a great job. I did more than most presidents would do in 30 years. We're going to make America great again. I sort of say it, I smile, but there's nothing to smile about because our country is going bad.
Right. Well, he's lost weight at least, I guess. Nothing to smile about. Our country's gone bad because Joe Biden didn't put our country in the refrigerator. He left it out. Now it's gone bad. But you know what? We're going to eat it anyway because that's how much we love this country. He's nuts. That's why he moved to Florida, where when it comes to crazies, he's not even in the top 10. And with that said, it's time for a new edition of This Week in Florida.
Fishing trip is one Dwayne Smith and his 11-year-old grandson will never forget.
We come out here, and in the first 5 minutes of being out here, we find 2 semi-automatic 50 caliber sniper rifles.
Oh my God. The alligators have guns now. Run for your lives. According to a new poll from YouGov, 70% of Americans who don't plan on getting the COVID vaccine also won't request any of those free at-home testing kits the government's handing it out. Boy, with all the free stuff we take, I don't know, the little soaps at the hotel and magnetized calendars with real estate agents on them, the little paper cups of artichoke dip at Costco, you won't take free tests that could potentially save your life? You know what? If you don't want those tests, send them to me. I have 4, and I'm afraid to use 1 because then I will only have 3. And in Beijing right now, they're in the final stages of gearing up for the Olympic Games. COVID be damned. NBC has decided not to send their sportscasters to the Olympics. NBC said if our commentators are going to get COVID, it ain't going to be in China. It's going to be right here in Los Angeles at the Super Bowl. The opening ceremony is Friday, but the curling competition started early. It started today. The actual sports don't start until this weekend. But I wonder how closely... curling? Oh, really? Clear the room, Guillermo. Come on.
Come on, let's go.
Anyway, I don't believe people are paying attention to the Olympics. So we went on the street and we asked pedestrians how they've been enjoying them so far, even though they haven't started yet, in tonight's Winter Games edition of Live Witness News.
Talking about the Olympics, you've been seeing some of that?
Yes.
What have you seen so far? Anything.
Sure.
We're talking to people about the Olympics. You've been enjoying them?
Yes.
What do you like about them so far?
So far, I enjoyed the opening ceremonies.
For people who might not have seen the opening ceremonies, describe them for us a little bit.
They had celebrities there like Pat Sajak, Machine Gun Kelly, lots of grandeur, lots of production value.
I'm sure you saw Elon Musk debuted his new Tesla snowboard, and it won the gold medal in speedboarding. What did you think when you saw that?
I thought it was just life-changing for the innovation world. Really, he's setting the tone for all of the new snowboard developers. I really think everyone should look up to him and go in his directions.
And what about when that one snowboarder ran out of juice halfway down the halfpipe and had to recharge?
Yeah, I think he should have came prepared and really charged his snowboard before showing up to the tournament. That's his fault.
We're talking about the Olympics. Don, you been watching?
Yeah.
How funny was it when that Swedish skier got her tongue stuck to the chairlift?
Man, it was priceless, like the Christmas story, man.
And then she couldn't get off the lift and her tongue was stuck to the chairlift.
I'm stuck,
and she
call
was
the fire
hanging there.
department. Man. It was priceless.
People are trying to figure out why the ice was so thin and why the figure skaters went through the ice when it cracked. Why do you think that was?
Definitely global warming is a huge factor in that.
What did you think when you saw that?
I was surprised.
Everybody's enjoying the Olympics. What three teams are you rooting for?
I'm going for U.S., Mexico, and Brazil.
And give me three teams you're rooting against.
Ireland, Tokyo, and Argentina.
I'm going to list some of the new Winter Olympic sports, and you tell me whether you think they're hot or not, okay?
Yes, okay.
How about ice diving? Have you been enjoying that?
No, not.
That's not. What about ice fishing?
Hot, I like
That's
that.
hot. You like not too boring for you?
Not too boring, yes.
Okay, what about snowballing, when the team tries to outrun that giant snowball?
I like that one. That's hot.
That's hot, yeah. What about the equestrian events, the horse ice skating? Have you been enjoying that?
No, that's a not for me because I'm thinking about the horses because it could happen there would be a lot of accident and they can, I know for sure they can balance themselves in
You
the
don't
ice.
like seeing the horses on the ice skates?
No.
We're talking about the Olympics. You've been enjoying it?
Yep.
You saw that snowboard jump over the Great Wall. Describe that for people who might not have seen it.
Evel Knievel 2022. I mean, it was just a wild, something that nobody should attempt, but he broke history while doing it. It was incredibly dangerous. Just once he's in the air, you don't see anything past that.
Were you surprised that Shaun White shot a TikTok of himself when he made that jump?
I couldn't believe he did it. I didn't think he actually did it. I thought it was just a joke at first. I thought it was a scripted joke when I saw the videos, but no, it was legitimate. It was crazy.
You saw it on TikTok?
Yeah.
Do me a favor, show me that tattoo. What does that say?
It says, nobody likes a liar.
Are you kidding? I love him.
Or maybe he can't read. I don't know. Thanks for watching. And remember, every time you click the subscribe button, one of your enemies gets destroyed.